and you might have 2 videos. Not a big deal. So basically, you're just going to be the cameraman all night long. Can you handle that? Yeah. See anything crazy, you let us know. It's going to be really, I found other things. Now this is a relatively new gadget for me too. I've only been using this for about 2 weeks, and I have caught some orbs. You also have to keep in mind, it cannot see through glass. It's a thermal imaging camera. So, questions, comments on the gadgets we all have. Everybody has a gadget, except for me. Oh, really? Is it that difficult for you to hang on to that?
Yeah. What's the range on this?
So, what are you looking for?
How close would I have to be to something for it to go off?
It will be right on top of it. I'm actually going to search your audio, and I'm going to show you guys the apps that I'm going to use on my phone, because that's a big part of this. We said today was the 19th, right? All right, June 19th tour, 9 p.m. So that'll stay with me all night long, and that way you guys will have all the stories. I know, I talk a lot, don't I? I talk more than you, man. You actually kind of kept quiet there for a while.
Should we turn our phones off? That's my question.
No. Because some of you might actually want to take pictures. I'll actually point out some really cool picture spots at night. Just kind of Charleston and kind of stuff.
I know one of my good friends went to Gore Orphanage, which was one orphanage that was burnt down in Ohio, and his cell phone hasn't worked since then.
Very interesting.
Won't even turn on. He met with a ghost hunting place 10 years ago. His phone has never turned on since. I saw it not turn on.
Oh, wow. Alright, so I'm going to keep an EMF detector on me just in case we have a mishaps with yours. I do have spare batteries in case it dies. Things do get drained from time to time, but that's just kind of running in the background. The next piece I have is, this is the ghost detector app that I was telling you about before. It is a spirit box, and it will give us words here in the center. When I'm telling you a story, and if I see something, London will pull on my shirt, say you got a word, I will let you guys know what the word is. We will look at every single word, but again, you'll have that full list. We will miss a few of them, I will tell you that right now. So, this is last night's list, just to show you how many words they actually got. I mean, we're probably looking at 100 words or so. It's very active. So we're actually going to clear out last night's tour, and you guys are going to start fresh. The last one I'm going to use, which is for a piece of communication, is a reverse spirit box. It's going to take the FM bands that are working on your spirit box, that other spirit box I just did, and it's going to play it in reverse. So it's going to sound like gibberish to us. In the event we're actually meant to hear something, it will come through in forward motion. So I'm going to play this for you so you guys can all get a gist of what this is going to sound like. Complete gibberish, right? It's got the word no, but at the same token, it's going to be close to me, and I may walk away from you from time to time, just so that what's been happening lately is I'll ask questions to whoever's in our vicinity, and the answers will come through him. And he'll be 10, 15, 20 feet away from me and won't be able to hear what I've asked. So if I say, what's your favorite color? And he says, it just said blue. It happens all the time. They pick a device to communicate with. So basically, we're going to be looking at your EMF first, always, to see where we're at with things. The cool thing about this particular app is I can keep both of those apps running, and I can always have this guy, and all I gotta do is turn up the volume so I can actually get both spirit boxes working for me at the same time. Does that make sense? All right, let's get into some stories. You guys ready for some stories? Yeah, good stuff. All right, so we are actually on a haunted location right now. That's the reason why we started. This is used to be called Big John's. Big John was a football player. Don't ask me what team, not a sports guy. But Big John used to sit in the back of the bar, and we had the Citadel just a few blocks away from here. This was back in the 1970s. So the cadets would come over after training, and Big John would nod off to the bartender whether or not they were of age. Kind of like, nope, don't give him anything. He knew everybody. So one night he pissed off 2 guys, and they took off because they actually were not of age to be drinking there. And the next night they came in and they stole the cash register from the front of the building. Big John takes out his .45 and he takes one out. The bullet hole is still in the front of the building. It said that anybody that sits in the front of the bar gets a little dizzy, disoriented, those kind of things. So I tell you that story because if anybody here tonight gets to that kind of point where you're a little dizzy, your stomach's turning or whatever, please speak up. I never know how paranormal stuff is going to influence somebody else. And we are actually going to be dealing with some of those things tonight. So, again, I can't guarantee it, but I can almost put a 99% chance that we're going to experience some things tonight. The other ghost that's said to have been seen here, guys, we had a big earthquake in 1886. If you guys took any other tour today, I'm sure somebody told you about it. But this allegedly is where the first death occurred. The mantling that you see above your head, that's why I pointed up there, in the front of the building, a piece of it cracked off, struck somebody in the head, and killed him. Nobody knows his name. I can't find any records of it, but his ghost is said to be seen in the road right here on East Bay Street. So, just one of those interesting facts. I got the word coast. We are right by the water. We are only 1 block away, just so you guys know. We'll try to find some relevance, but if it's not something like, I'm like, that's BS, that doesn't mean anything, I'll flat out tell you. I'm not going to make things up. You guys ready to walk? Yeah. Sure. Let's do this. We're going to head this way. So, stop here. I know we didn't go very far, but Crew Cafe is haunted. Allegedly, there was a suicide that occurred there. I did walk through with an EMF per the owner's request. I did get some readings from the upstairs restroom. They asked me to do a full investigation. Hopefully, that'll happen this summer. However, it's really hard to find records for that place, because it used to be a slave home, obviously expanded with the size of it now. The slave homes did not have addresses. So to find the title, the deeds, any news that would have happened there, really difficult to find, but hopefully I come across some actual evidence when I do the full investigation. Charleston, fun fact, the stop sign down there, keep in mind Charleston, the island itself was not as big as it was. A lot of it is man-made, and the water was much closer. So Revolutionary War, a ship pulls up, fires a cannon on us, and lands right there at the stop sign. No deaths, no tragedies, nothing crazy as far as paranormal goes, but just one of those weird fun facts that you find online, and you can actually pinpoint exactly where it happened. So, you getting anything right?
It's when I walked here, it like spiked for a second, and then it's kind of spiking, but I think it's like more rhythmic than anything else right now.
Okay. So sometimes that will start when I'm going through this little bit, and sometimes it won't until we're at the very end of the parking lot. Guys, this parking lot behind me is completely haunted. Every one of your gadgets is probably going to do something, and we've really been looking for cold spots in this area, so it's going to be up to you to kind of survey the land. There's no story here. The only thing I can tell you is that this is the red barn where they keep the horses for the carriage rides. So anybody with a laser, please stay away from the windows. You will spook the ponies. It's not a happy thing. The other thing here is that, what was the other thing I was going to get into? Oh, so the red barn is also the same red barn where they kept the horses that delivered milk to Charleston. So we're talking like 1840s. So kind of keep that in mind too. That's the age of this place. However, the only horror stories or scary stuff I have about this place are my own. So, and it's usually stuff that I come across all the time. Now, I did get the words, just on the way over here, I got the word puncture just now, with the word patron. So, you guys are kind of all patrons to me tonight. I don't know what that means. And the word grind. Now, again, I'll kind of warn you, if any of you hear these words I'm spitting off to you, or you see some activity that's happening that might be somebody that you know that's passed on, by all means, speak up. It happens all the time. War vets come on this tour, and they get a buddy that was from overseas. Do you have something?
For a second there, it was like staying in my way.
Steady? Or was it blinking kind of like it is right now?
It was steady for a second, and then it was
EMF goes nuts. This is a sewer line. It's showing y'all how close something has to be to that gadget for it to be able to go off with my cell phone. So we're going to kind of follow her around. We're also going to be looking for those cold spots. People with thermometers and temperature gauges kind of hang out. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Keith.
Keith.
Yeah.
We're going to follow Keith around and see if we can help debunk some of the cold spots we can find. So let's search through. I got the word weapon. I don't know how this is going to go through here tonight, so we're going to find out.
On this thermometer, what are we looking for?
So you're looking for temperature drops between 5 to 10 degrees. So whatever it's steady at, you need to be 5 to 10 degrees colder than the normal temperature. So I think I gauged this at, it was like 72 degrees before we get out of the car.
I was going to say, I kind of felt a little chilly for a second.
There is a brief.
That's true. That's true.
Where you're renting
I'm at
this
68.
I mean, you don't need to keep it out.
68.
Not necessarily. So this is a great spot for you to be walking around asking questions. Is anybody
My
here?
mother was like,
What was it?
You know,
Okay.
and you actually get something. Refer to that. Stay away from
Is that a cold spot?
I
Yeah,
there?
I mean,
No,
you're
because
gonna
those
hear
are
it.
like,
But I mean, do I need to hit?
because they're cars,
Nope,
like
the
they're
only
gonna
thing
be
you
a
need to
little.
do is turn the
okay.
top on. That's it.
Got it.
I try to make things as simple as possible.
Okay.
So, ask questions. I'm going to be doing the same thing with my reverse gear box to see if I can get anything there, but so far what I've got kind of... One other night, I'm doing it for you. One other night, I actually not getting very good vibes. I started getting that hit in my stomach and very malevolent words, and I was like, all right, we got to go now. So if I kind of go that way, that's where we got to go.
I just think it's a little like what you said. Like, I'm not trying to get anyone nervous or anything, but we're from Northern Ohio, and to me right now, it's like it is a little.
Well, you're also going to have, you're going to see some of the fans blowing out of the barn, and you will get a breeze here. So, I mean, it is common, even though like it's going to be coming in this way, and this building should technically block it, we still get a breezeway coming through here.
Yeah.
And I can still feel it. But again, that's why we gauge temperature. That's why we move around. We kind of see where things are at, look for those cold spots.
Is there a way to keep the light on?
You have to keep,
It just went into
unfortunately,
red
yeah.
for a second. It just went into red for a second, yeah.
Unfortunately, you got to keep tapping that, unfortunately. Alright, so let's move around. I did get the word slave. We're just talking about a slave home. So let's walk through and let's see what we can find. Keep nice slow movements with that because it doesn't have the high pixelation from a normal camera, so it needs a split second to help adjust with the focus. So actually this is a good place for you too. So what you want to do, there's a little switch right here. The hunting will switch on. There you go. And you want to start it off at the ground and move it out real slow to see if you can actually capture anything and try to keep it as still as possible. Might actually be better a little bit in the darker areas because you're going to be able to see the grid a little bit better. Again, this is a new gadget for me, so you're kind of testing out something new for me. And really what you're looking for is going to be in between how it kind of blends in and out. So can you tell me what color the squares are on the ground? It looks like a net. That's the word net. What color is that net?
That sounds like a radio. Were you a young man?
What do I have here with us?
Were you a young man? No, I didn't. Sounds almost like a radio though.
How are you doing on that EMS?
It's red.
So, we're also pretty close to a building. Are you guys having anything on that?
I said, are you a male or a female? And it sounded like it said female. And then I heard a female, and it sounded like they were arguing. But then it almost sounds like a glimpse of a radio.
Okay, and that's okay. If you can't make things out, you can say I can't hear it.
But it did say, he heard it said young.
I am color excited. I got the word net on the actual word.
But do you know the difference between a radio sound and
It's body voice. So you hear that skipping? This is just something right over that skipping. The radio is when you stop.
that's going to cut out.
Right. So I just advise you that it's going to go over the top of it.
Okay.
That's what the young man said.
It's stopped. It said young man. Because I said, are you a male or female? And then about 30 seconds later, it said young man. And she said no. Are you lying or Brad from the other night?
So the sky would be cold.
It depends on like how the wind is going, but
Yeah, but past the trees it was cold, but the trees were warm.
So just like I was showing Olivia, like what you're going to be looking for. Go ahead and shine it. Just like you have to. It's going to be very fast.
So that's normal.
Right.
yes. But I think one of your fingers is covering part of the camera. It's on the side, so
Oh,
yeah.
I love this thing when I'm doing
Okay.
one area because I can just kind of like take the button down and walk away. And like the grid box that she's using, it actually has a switch, so I can just turn it on and go into another room. I have a video on it.
It keeps kind of like going into the red and then coming out and then going, but like not in the rhythm.
Okay, so it seems like you're really the only one that's getting any kind of activity. I mean, Tyler's got a couple responses. We're going to use it to try to keep it. So hold it as steady as you possibly can. Try to get the gauge as where it's at. Alright, so it's going up to yellow. So catch it. Now you're going to show off your red. Alright, if there's somebody actually here with us, please make that device go to red. Come on, you know you can make it go to red. Almost a steady pulse, but it just seems weird because there's nothing near us that should be making it. Like if you were next to the building, I could see that, but we're in the middle of a parking lot with a sewer line underneath us. Now they walk away. So let's try to find them again. Go ahead and start moving around until you get back up to yellows and reds.
There's a red flash.
Well, I really wanted to go kind of crazy into that red, so I can see if I can get them to back off of it to kind of prove that they're actually here. Does that make sense? Because I do that all the time. Because once we actually have activity, most people set this on a table when it's in a dead room and it's on green. You say, hey, if you're nearby, can you please make this device go to red? I like to make it go to red first and then get them to back away. It just makes a whole lot more sense to me. Okay. So, did you get any other words, Tyler?
No.
Okay.
I heard no, and then young man.
All right.
And since then, I think it's been all radio talk.
And radio talk is okay too, as long as they're like short and they're like meaningful words. We don't want to hear like BMW or you know what I mean, something silly that doesn't really mean anything.
I mean, she heard it clear as day.
Okay, it's
It
good.
said young man.
London actually earlier, it kept spiking, and she said you can ask it to like go to the red, and then a second later it went to red and stayed red.
Maybe LYNDSAY.
Yeah, London likes to provoke a little bit.
Should I be seeing red?
So
Well, it turned. Okay.
because I mean we have a little bit of fluctuation with people moving around, but literally you should have this thing up like this, as if you're the cameraman for the night. We want to see the people. We want to see it fluctuate a little bit. We want to see if it gets near anybody. Obviously my hand is in the way. Are you still recording? Yep, you're still good. So yeah, that's the kind
Oh,
of
so you just went, okay.
yeah, sweep it like that, because when you start like just videoing the ground, you're not really going to get much.
Okay.
We want to see those fluctuations, and then if any white lines. You see how those white lines right there are kind of showing up? That's the post. It's going to take anything of a shape or a format and put white lines around it, so that way we can define where that temperature is coming from. So in the event we have an orb, a blue ball of some sort, starts moving around intelligently, it's going to have somewhat of a form to the camera. So it's going to take the outline as well. So that's kind of like what we're waiting for.
Okay.
Cue. All right, so I'm going to take that as my cue for us to move on. I think we actually captured a few things to kind of recollect. You've got some young man. When Olivia's red grid was out, I asked what color it was, and it gave me the word net. But again, those words coming into this, like, I would normally spend more time here if the spirit boxes were a little bit more communicative. But I mean, you definitely had some EMF, but it was kind of hit or miss. A lot of times, it's really all over the board. So don't want to say like this is a weakened place for the night, but it's kind of weakened. So we'll kind of see what happens on our next spot. So we're actually going to unmute the laser, right? He knows where we're going. Alright, so, guys, if I were to have a grand finale, this parking lot would be it.
Steady red. It was steady red for a second, and then it started like, as soon as I said it, it was like high.
Okay, so, this is the Eliza and Charles Pinckney mansion site. So their mansion was in the front. Eliza's garden was lined up with where we are here, and then the slave homes were in the back. So you're asking, who are these people? So Charles Pinckney and his son Charles Coatsworth Pinckney were signers of our Constitution. They lived here. Big deal for Charleston. However, I like to tell Eliza's story. EMF goes crazy in here. Every time I mention her name, I can see it from here. But Eliza Pinckney actually saved Charleston. Here's how. So you guys have taken other tours. I know you guys have. Did you guys hear about the rice plantations and all this stuff that we had down?
We didn't do a tour here.
Okay, so Charleston was known for its rice plantations. When it pretty much went to hell in a handbasket, we needed something to save us. So the story of Eliza is she married Charles so that she could stay here in the United States. Her dad was sick, he wanted her home, and it didn't happen. So she married Charles to stay here. He got better, they made amends. He starts sending over plants because she was a botanist. So, I know it's going crazy. So, one of the plants that he sent over was indigo. So the indigo plants that saved Charleston started right here where you are standing. Indigo is the plant that makes blue dye, which is what makes your blue jeans blue. Okay, so that was our big crop. So not only did she start the crop and plantation here, but she was also the businesswoman that sold it overseas, which is what made it a big cash crop for Charleston. So Eliza loves to talk to me here. This is another great place for the grid pens. Obviously temperature gauges. The video needs to be swept through here again. The spirit boxes pretty much go crazy, especially my reverse. This is where I get Eliza to start talking to me directly. She'll say my name, her name, how many wives her husband had, all of that stuff. She did have 5 children. So Thomas, Charles, Harriet, and unfortunately I cannot remember the other 2, but those are names that we might be looking for on the spirit box, because sometimes she brings somebody with her. We never know. We have found cold spots in here before and haven't really been able to debunk it. So usually they're up in kind of like close to that corner, just not close to the wall. In the corners of the walls, we will get wind pockets. So you will see some blue start to stir up over there, but it's up to us to determine if it's actually a cold spot or a wind pocket. Does that make sense to everybody? Alright, so again, questions, comments? Pretty quiet. It doesn't matter, you're just soaking it all in. I think the light's on tonight, team? Interesting. Alright, so everybody see the blinky light? The blinky light doesn't always do that. Sometimes it stays on, sometimes it blinks in different pulses and rhythms. It will go in rhythm with the EMF detector if you are holding it up this way, and you can actually see where the pulses come in. It's about 2 milliseconds of a frame off. We have video clued up somewhere on my website. So if you literally hold it up and show everybody what those blips are, you can probably stand in the center of the parking lot so you can all see. By all means, let's get a full sweep of this, nice and slow, and let's see if we can capture any of those blue orbs I was telling you about earlier. Your grid net, that we're going to call it now. So by all means, just try not to go above the walls. Obviously, we got major streets, and then help it out with some of those cold spots. See if we can capture it. Spirit box on. This is a big hot spot.
It was like,
Yeah. Alright, Eliza. Got a whole new group for you tonight. Eliza. Say your name so I know you're here. Eliza. Keep here. Keep always here. Where's my temperature gauge? I'm getting like a weird, I don't know if it's wind, but I'm getting something over here. Put that video. Keith, kind of keep an eye on this area right here where I'm standing. I don't know, like I said, I don't know if it was a gust of wind or it was just a chill.
Yeah, something close by me. It's something. I just felt it go like this.
Yeah, like mine actually went like shoulder to shoulder,
Yeah.
like bare arm to bare arm. Again, I can't tell if it was a breeze or Eliza. It's Nick again. Can you say hello to Nick? Hear a lot of little chitter chatter, but I can't make it out. Eliza, who else is here with you? Mean? Who's mean? You knew what? See that?
it was like completely steady and then
Something else beeping. Did you hear that? Something else beeping. You getting anything? Because I'm getting another brief, but I don't know if it's coming through the
I
camera.
was asking having a hard time knowing if it's a radio or not.
Okay.
And I don't think my ears play tricks on me because I've been a musician for 18 years. And I said, has anyone lived here? Is this Eliza that lived here? And it said, I live.
I'm not getting, like, normally she'll tell me her name, she'll say hi to Nick, you know, those kind of things. I haven't gotten any of those things, but I've gotten, what was the phrase I said? Something else is beeping or something?
Something else is beeping.
Yeah, like a full phrase that came up and said something else was beeping. I also heard two women like chitter-chattering, which is weird because normally it's like, it'll break it up, as you can hear now, but it literally like stopped for like 3 seconds and I just heard like 3 women chattering. And what's nice about the audio is you're going to be able to hear me asking questions along with this.
Yeah.
So you're going to be able to kind of hit that 10-second rewind and be able to catch it for
And
yourself.
it also said me and
Yeah.
new.
Me and he knew. So I don't know what's going on here. I don't see there's that little breeze. Does anybody else feel that? It might just be coming up from that
breeze?
Yeah.
I felt it. But that's why I use this.
So this should actually go down to like 70.
Yep.
That should go down.
Yeah, and it doesn't go down very quickly. So just like Olivia's being very still, you almost need to be doing the same thing. Like when I was trying to say we might have something going on here, but that's also going to help us debunk what's going on with the thermal camera. Is that you realize this? Eliza?
That's different. That was different. That's not.
Eliza. Hello, Eliza, it's Nick.
That was different. It's the same voice. Is that you trying to talk to us?
Just so you're not hearing 2 different things. A little creepy when you're listening to this all night, huh? Maybe let's try your grid pen along with his, like the green dots. Like put them together and let's see what we can capture.
What are you doing?
Kind of, that's part of the process I wanted to try with this. So go ahead and put your grid right over top. There you go. What color are the dots on the ground? What color are the dots on the ground? Sawyer, the name I just got. I don't know what relation that has, if anything. What colors do you see on the ground? Dew. D-U-E. Eliza, you tell me what color is this on the ground? Little arrow. What color is it? course. Your EMF still going to red? Come on, Eliza, I'm going to give you a few more minutes. Proclaim. Jacket. Nobody here is wearing a jacket. All right, Eliza, a few more minutes. Try to tell us what you want to tell us tonight.
If anything unordinary pops up in there, it's because of the question I asked. So you'd know it if you saw it.
Or heard it. Outer? What was the question?
Asked what state are us three from.
Okay.
To see if it was
Eliza, do you know where I'm from? Can you tell me what state I'm from? I'm even listening for words like noise.
yeah.
We're talking 1700s colonial period.
Yeah.
You know, so that's a lot. Like, I don't know what's going on there, but that was a lot of shit that happened. Give her one more chance to come through here. And we're gonna move on. Eliza, we're gonna give you one more chance. Can you do something you want to tell us? Touch. What are you touching? Are you touching the lights? Genetic. Alright, I'm not getting a whole lot here unless he's gonna give him a minute to see if he can capture me. Eliza, I'm gonna move the group on. Can you say goodnight? How about goodbye?
That kind of sounded like a night.
Yeah. I got satisfaction. Meaning they're pretty much done with us here. So I've been busy every night, as you can imagine. I'm harassing this poor woman to tell me things. Good job. Alright, we're gonna move on. So your laser gadgets are pretty much irrelevant on East Bay Street. That's gonna go crazy because the ley lines for all of our crosswalks are underneath the sidewalks, so don't get excited. By all means, if you want to listen to the spirit box as we get to the next location, you can. Please continue the video. We never know what we're going to catch. anywhere. So again, if I can help find new locations, we're gonna be heading down to Lodge Alley, which is about 2.5 blocks from here. So, all right. Any questions about Eliza and anything like that? I'm gonna leave you guys links if I actually capture stuff. I'm like, hey, check this reference out. I heard this, and this is what it means. I'll leave you a link of where to get to that information. Fair enough?
Yep.
All right, let's do this. Watch your step coming down out of here, guys. streets in Charleston, people actually used to live here, believe it or not. I actually just got the list of residents that used to live here in chronological order. So if we get anything on our spirit box or anything that's relevant to that, I will definitely give you the sheet of people that used to live here to prove that we were legitimate in our findings. So, this is where the Masons used to meet. Very kind of creepy place. But they would be, this is actually a cool night for Charleston. If you live down here in the South, you know that this is not too bad. So, again, thank you for not making me sweat my tail off tonight. I actually get to wear shorts and be comfortable. Behind me, guys, we have Lodge Alley Inn. Okay, it's one of those blue-green timeshare type places, but of course they all have their hauntings. And I bring you down here for the ambiance of telling you one of my stories about the psychic. So I'm trying to think of where you guys have been, maybe something relevant. So you guys are planning on going to Savannah, is that what you said?
Yeah, we will.
We've been to the sorority house.
We went
Oh,
to
you have?
Savannah,
Yeah.
like, we were in Savannah yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I'll tell the story of Savannah. You weren't there, unfortunately.
Sadly.
So my wife says, we need a romantic weekend, go ahead and plan it. What do? I book all ghost stuff all weekend long. So we stayed at Foley House Inn, which is on the same square where they taped Forrest Gump, right
Yep,
there on the
yep.
bench. So very gorgeous hotel. And we took the Sorrel Wheat House tour, and we took the same tour guide to go on a ghost tour among the graveyards and that kind of thing. And we actually caught some different things on the tour, a lot of fun. Our tour guide told us a story about because the tour guides down there will dress in period dress based on the stories that they like to tell. So, but he said that they only get dressed right before their tours at night. And then if you see somebody during the daytime, it's usually not the tour guide, it's actually somebody from that period of time. So I take my dog out the next morning afterwards, and I'm walking, of course, my first cup of coffee I haven't had yet. But I see somebody walk up to a pole on the backside of it, and he didn't come out the other side. So I'm freaking out because the guy was in period dress, and I thought it was just a tour guide. And of course, after my dog did what he needed to do, I took him upstairs, told the wife, and she's like, "You haven't had your first cup of coffee yet." But I'm like, I know what I saw. But we also caught some things at the Sorrel Wheat House. We had some photos of moving orbs. So if you get a chance to go down to Savannah, Sorrel Wheat House they are prominent in their, all the ghost TV shows have been there. I know I told you like most of that stuff is fake and they liven it up for you, but it's still, there's a lot of evidence down there. But guys, there's a ton of history here. I haven't really gotten anything here. As far as that, I know you all said it was a little bit more humid down here. Last night I actually had several words that came through, like windows, bricks, those kind of things, trying to let us know where we were. So far, all I have when we were walking, let's see where we're at. I got the word low, egg, door, and stomach. So, don't know what any of those mean. I don't really see a relevance to down here at all. But guys, we're going to continue on. I like to just kind of give you guys a quick break, kind of see one of the oldest streets. If any tour guide tells you that these 3 bricks lines in the center are the exact latitude or longitude of Charleston, they're lying. It is not. So if you take another tour, excuse us.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. How are you?
I'm good.
You're good. But at the end of this alley, guys, it is a residential area. So we're going to go up, and there's a lot more stories up in that area. And we're going to actually go up to a graveyard and kind of see what we can capture there. But there's a lot more stuff to kind of check out. But again, this is just kind of, I know I took you guys on a long walk. And sometimes I have to skip this alley because I get somebody that's disabled. I don't know if that's relevant, but I'll be able to look it up when I get home. So very cool. And actually that looks really familiar, as if I've heard it this past week. You were about to say something.
It has been on the one, and then right before you got Gianna, it spiked up a bit to
Really?
like orange, and then it went back down again.
Okay, that's interesting. So again, it's something that I definitely need to look into and look at that list. Alright, you guys ready to hike on? Let's do this. This is honestly the worst one we have now. And I drag you guys through.
wants you up there.
Hmm?
He said he wants you up there.
What we have here, guys, Keith, I want you to keep your camera on the dark brick building. So I'm kind of going through this and just kind of do a slow sweep at the windows, the outside of the buildings, those kind of things. Guys, that's Bashi's restaurant. It was sold in 2015 because it is completely haunted and no restaurant wants anything to do with it. Now, if I were to ever open a Stories in a Cemetery shop, it would be exactly right there, and I would rent out the top as hotels, was haunted, and educate those kids. But things move around in there. The doors won't stay locked. Like, it is crazy in there. Again, to the point where no restaurant even wants to take it off of the city's hands. So I didn't even tell this story until I got the thermal imaging camera. Now I know it can't see through windows, but we actually caught some boards outside the windows. This is one of those locations. So it's always really, if you want to try to find something that's repetitive like that, if you can actually capture something. So Keith has just taken some slow sweeps for me. Now the windows are going to be colder than the bricks, so they're going to look blue when you watch the video. What we're looking for are those white lines, like anything intelligent that might be moving around on the outside of it. Might be kind of hard to see on a telephone screen or cell phone screen, but when you have it on your computer or your television, they're much easier to determine where they're at. Keith, you think you got a pretty good sweep of that?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so go ahead and keep it on there and keep moving along. See if anything changes or fluctuates. Let's get everybody kind of up this way past that bush. I need you guys to kind of like spot something over here. So that is Philadelphia Alley where we just passed. It was actually known as Dueler's Alley. So it's kind of like take 20 paces from a shoot Dueler Alley. But if you notice there's a doorway, there's like a hole in the wall. And then you'll see that gateway. The loser of the duel would come through that door and go straight over to his grave, St. Philip's Church. So just one of those weird unknown facts that you're just gonna have to dig for. But guys, there's a couple of stories that actually tie in with this whole corner. It looks like that group is leaving, so we can go take over the cemetery. We can actually capture some really cool stuff with the grid pens and the camera. So let's go take our spot before somebody else does. Front. You got the word front. Alright, so where's my laser grids, my grid nets? Where are those folks? Obviously, I need you guys to kind of keep an eye on the cemetery for me. Go ahead and flash your lights in there, keep them steady. Obviously, Keith, film as much as you possibly can. There's 3 stories that tie in here. If you want to listen to your spirit box during this period, you can, just to see if anything comes up. I'm going to keep an eye on mine. But there's a sign right here, folks, that actually says the only ghost of St. Philip's is the Holy Ghost. There's a reason for that. So in 1888, the woman died 10 days later after her stillborn child. Her name was Susan Howard Hardy. In 1988, we get a photographer in town who actually shoots pictures of the cemeteries here in Charleston, and he actually captures the full operation. That's why I have them with their grids inside here to see if we can actually capture it. It is said anybody that actually posts a picture is going to feel ill will. They're going to feel disoriented, especially females. Any female that posts a picture that is pregnant, their pregnancy will not go well, or else I would gladly show you the picture. I'm not cursing my own tours. So, but you got to think about 1988. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have Photoshop. We didn't have all the kind of stuff that we have now that we're using today. But he actually sent the photo off to Kodak. Kodak could not debunk the picture. So that kind of tells you how great that picture is. By all means, look it up on your own time. Just don't curse my door. The other story that goes along with this, there's two different sides of the cemetery. So Calhoun, if you're a political nut, he's buried on the other side. Right past the west side of the cemetery, you have the pirate house, which is where a bunch of men used to come in off the wharf and grab a pint, women, and they had a jolly good time. One block past that is Dock Street Theater, which is one of the top 10 most haunted places in America. It is said to be haunted by two ghosts. The first was Nettie Dickerson. She used to work here at St. Philip Church. She was past the marrying age of 17. She was 23 years old. Nobody wanted her. So she put on her best red dress, went down to Dock Street Theater, which, I'm sorry, let me take a step backwards for a second. Dock Street Theater history was first a theater, then it turned into a hotel with prostitution, and it was basically a brothel. Then it turned back into the theater that we know now. During Nettie Dickerson's time, it was the hotel. She seen the prostitution happening, so she went down to go get a job. She goes in, she's the best girl in the whole place. However, she's still unhappy. So she decides she wants to come back down to the church. She went up to the second story balcony to meet with the priest from down here about coming back. Lightning, storm rolls in, and lightning strikes the wrought iron banister that she's leaning on and strikes her dead. Now, her ghost is said to be seen from the knees up only. So the reason why I told you about the history of Dock Street Theater is because when we turned it back into a theater, we raised the first floor ceiling. She's walking on the floor that she knows. So hence, you can only see her from the knees up, if that makes sense. So the other ghost that's down there is that of Junius Booth, father of John Wilkes Booth, who shot Lincoln in a theater. He's not from here, he didn't die here, he's not buried here. It's just said that he loved Dock Street Theater so much that he shows up from time to time. I've been through that place with all of my gadgets and equipment. I haven't caught anything, but I believe that it is haunted by some of the wood that's in there, because some of the wood that's in there is from a mansion that burned down in the Radcliffe Borough Mansion, very close to where we started. So that's my personal belief. I believe wood holds spiritual activity, and that's why the doors and some of the banisters that are in there actually are haunting the place. I don't even get an EMF. I got a little spike from time to time, but that's about it. So those are the stories that tie into this place. Did we capture anything on those videos or any grid pens? Nothing. I'm hoping to actually capture some orbs in this place one day with that new camera. The grid pens, I haven't caught anything yet, but I'd like to go a little bit deeper into the cemetery just to kind of check out to see what I can do. During the daytime, guys, I do believe you can walk through the other side to go see the housing. The sarcophagus is very large, and it's pretty much why everybody wants to walk through there. But we're actually going to head back down to Philadelphia Alley from our station. The only word I got was geek out of all of that.
Make a phone with all of them.
It's like questions, people tell them a story back. beautiful place in all of Charleston. So it's nighttime, nobody's down here. By all means, take pictures away. It's gorgeous. Anybody else want to do pictures? Before I get into the story down here. Alright, let's head down to the death gate. Alright, here's the gate I just showed you guys from the other side. So it is wrought iron, it's not the original, but the hole is. So, guys, this place was known originally as Cow Alley, because this is where they kept all the livestock for Charleston, and then it turned into Duelers Alley, which obviously I told you was about duels, and now it is known as Philadelphia Alley, because we had to change the name after dueling became illegal. So, the story down here is every other ghost tour's big finale. They try to scare you with this story, it's a big bang, because it's a duel, those kind of things. I'm going to give you the gist of this in about 3 to 4 minutes, and what's relevant here is anything that happens on our thermal, anything from our spirit box, and anything on your audio. This is the story of the Whistling Doctor. So if you actually Google the Whistling Doctor, this is what you're going to read. And it's actually, I'm going to give you the very quick summary. Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd was from the north. I forget which state. I should realize that by now, right?
Yeah.
I always forget which state. But anyway, he moved down here because he was going to get married and his fiance's lawyer said no. She just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. So he thought the doctor was just after her money. He said, go finish your studies, start your practice, then we'll talk. Her name was Amanda. He moves down here to Charleston. The coachman that drops him off set him up to be robbed and killed. Somebody passing by said this isn't a very good place for you to stop and have, basically have a sleep. So he took him somewhere else. That guy's name was Ralph Isaacs. The two became friends. So the doctor finishes his studies. He starts his practice. He's doing well. He's very happy. He became known as the Whistling Doctor. Bernie. Interesting. That's the next building. So anyway, where was I? Oh, the two became friends. So the doctor moves up in society, and Ralph Isaacs kind of stays as a regular Charlestonian. They used to love to go to the theater. However, they had to sit in different seats, so they had to talk about the play afterwards. So they went to go see Richard III. Don't know how that specific detail was ever found out, but they're walking home talking about one of the actresses that was in the play. The doctor loved her, Ralph did not. They started arguing about it, and then it turned into an insult session against the doctor's fiancée. So obviously the two get pretty ticked off at each other. They go their separate ways. Ralph Isaacs writes something in the paper about what a disgrace the doctor is to the city of Charleston because he's not from here. The doctor rebuttals with, we're going to finish this in Duelers Alley. So they come down here, they turn back to back, 20 paces, they turn. The doctor points his gun in the air and shoots. He doesn't want to kill his friend. He only wanted to make a point. That was it. However, Ralph Isaacs takes 2 shots below the knees and the doctor drops. Now, when I said that Ralph Isaacs took him to somewhere else, that's weird that we're hearing dogs barking right now. But anyway, the doctor lived at 59 Church Street, which is about 1.4 miles from where we're standing right now. So his friends literally picked him up and carried him the 1.4 miles to his bed, where he died 10 days later. It is said, as you walk through here, this very quiet alley, which we're only 1 block away from East Bay Street, very busy, noisy street, you can hear the whistling. You can hear the gunshots. We actually get some words out of the spirit box. I get some like PhD, medicine, doctor. I haven't gotten the name Amanda yet, so I don't know that Amanda is actually going to come through because she's obviously never came down here after her fiance died. So, guys, again, beautiful place. At the very end of this, it's another weird little fun fact. Just like the Death Gate here, these bricks are going to get older as we walk along them. The very end are actually sun-dried bricks from slave children, which means they had to turn those bricks every hour because they didn't have brick ovens to dry them. So they were sun-dried. You could still see the fingerprints and the handprints. I will point them out as we get to the end of the alley. However, we have to keep moving because it's a residential area. Again, tour guides cannot do touristy things in residential areas. So I will point it to the person behind me. If you guys can all kind of point it to the next person, if somebody wants to take a picture, let's please make it quick. And we're going to make a left out of the alley as we go along. Your EMF will go off in the center of the alley. The Footlight Players Club is in the middle. That's the actor studio for Dock Street Theater. So don't get excited. I debunked that right off the top, just so nobody gets excited. I would love to capture something on your audio through here. So very slow movements, just straight ahead, and let's see what we capture. Spirit box would be really great here if we can capture something. So let's see what we can capture. All right, let's do this.
Who used to walk these streets? What was your name?
This would be a point where I need to watch the video. See, I think it'll make me look at it.
No, you are fine. You guys have a good night. Happy hunting. All right, so we had a great fire.
Who was shot here?
Around the corner here. You guys take the pictures if you want one. You know the story. Alright, so I'm excited. This is our last story of the night and our last building to kind of dive into. And it deals with somebody who committed suicide with a rope over a rafter. And the only reason I'm telling you that ahead of time is because of the word I just got that came through my spirit box. So I just got the word hang, and this has been an interesting hit or miss type of spot. Because some nights it's super active, other nights I'm getting stuff from another haunted location 2 blocks up. It's always been coming from one, just so you know.
Where is that at?
So we're going to be talking about this building right here.
No, when did you get that?
As soon as I stopped here.
Because I don't know.
Yeah,
She probably thinks I'm cuckoo, but I mean, I guess maybe eating a lot of food, having a couple drinks, but right when we got to those stones, like it was like a total 180. My stomach felt like
just flipped,
and then like my eyes almost started getting like watery. It was like really odd.
Now
it was like instant.
With that being said, can you walk up with her near that handprint? Was it by the handprint?
Hi.
We were last in line. I said, "Hold on a second." I said, "I don't."
It's right over the handprint.
Feel
I want to
very
see
good.
if you can get an EMF over the handprint. It doesn't happen often. I think I've had it twice in the past year, but every once in a while.
You want me to go? You're saying?
You can if you want. So you can tell him the story here later. And he can hear it on his audio for himself. So, guys, this building right here is the Wagner building. So us ignorant Americans would look at it and probably say Wagner, but it's Wagner. But this was part of our cotton industry. So the last gentleman that owned this place was George Poirier, as part of the cotton industry. The back of it was obviously the warehouse, and then the front of it would have been his offices. So, in a nutshell, he inherited from his dad. He had no idea what he was doing. He got himself into a bunch of debt, and then the boll weevil moved into town, which was basically a bug that would eat cotton. So he was really up the creek with this, and he needed to get out of the cotton industry very quickly. So he sold off to the British instead of the American government. So the British pull up in Pineapple Park, which is now Pineapple Park, and they load up from back here. The horse and buggy took all the cotton bales out to the British ship. George is watching from the second-story window. Somebody on the ship got too close to the cotton with a pipe, and it caught fire. The whole ship goes down in flames. George gets very depressed. He piles up all the furniture. His father's legacy is gone, and he hangs himself. The next day, it was the kid that sells the newspapers on the corner that actually caught the body swinging. It was there for a whole day. So they say a crow got to it as well because of a broken window. But they say you can catch the shadow of a swinging corpse if you catch it at the right light or at the right time of day. Now the Vendu, right across the street, so if you guys want to go out later and have a drink, go up to the rooftop, you can actually see a perfect view. So I refer people there all the time. And actually where I took my pictures for the blog post I wrote on George Poirier. Now I've gotten things, I got Gianna again. I don't know, it might be something I need to dive into. But I get names out of this when I'm usually near this building. But if you haven't eaten at Poogan's Porch where you're here, that's also haunted by Zoe and the dog Poogan. And they've been coming through a lot whenever I'm looking at the Wagner building. I don't know why. It's only been happening the past 2 weeks. I've had Zoe's name, and she died by falling down a flight of stairs. I've had the word stairs. Like, you can go back and look at everybody else's evidence and see, like, it's legitimate. So I'll be curious to see what we can get out of this. They're taking a really long time. I kind of wanted to wait for them to move on before we walk over there. I really didn't want them hanging out that long outside the guy's house. Just go see if we can get it quick, and I got flat. So what this is now is it's actually condos, and they're turning the front of it into 3 wedding reception areas. So it's it's facing the water, which means it's gonna be probably a good 25 to 50K for a wedding reception on one of those floors. I think they're also thinking about making the rooftop the 4th floor, so you can actually fully see the water, and they'll probably definitely charge quite a bit for that. But people live back here on this end. This is used as a garage now, where the horse and buggies used to go. Just an interesting building. Not everybody talks about it in Charleston. So. We're losing half the group.
Maybe he's thrown up over there.
I know. That's my concern, to be honest with you. I think London probably would have texted me by now. So what about you guys? You already answered. Is this what you thought it was going to be?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's interesting because you don't always see everything because you're either listening to me or you're off doing your own thing with your own gadget. This way, with the extra evidence, you'll be able to go back and actually see things later, which is super awesome. So actually, you shouldn't be shooting me. You should be shooting the building. Let's see what we can capture. We know what my temperature is, and I'm not a ghost.
I thought maybe you just wanted to be in the video.
Yeah. I'm on enough Facebook videos. I do all my own commercials and try to get people to comfortable in the podcast. I'm on the air enough.
How long have you been doing
The tour about a year, but I've been literally diving into ghost hunting and this kind of thing for about a dozen years now, so about 12 years. We want to go to St. Augustine. I keep trying to commit that in New Orleans. I just want to go down there and have a. Did you capture anything, guys?
Couple things.
What do we got?
I mean, that feeling went away.
Okay. So what did you
I
catch?
said, why did you shoot your gun? And it said, had to.
There was like 1 or 2 other things. I can't remember them, but I am really sore in the middle of my chest right now.
Okay.
Or like when I got over there.
Are you okay?
I'm good. It's just like achy. Like
Yeah.
that was not there before.
And that's what I said. Is it felt like something just went like this, and it was just like.
So you said, why did you shoot your gun?
So why did you shoot your gun? I said, had to. It was radio, and then we heard a deep voice go, had I said,
That's really awesome.
I asked what its profession was. It didn't say anything. And then I said, who did you get in a fight with back here? And it says, I was told.
Yeah.
And then you said the story about how he had.
No, I think it was when you said, why did you shoot twice instead?
I said, why did you shoot twice? And
Yeah.
said, I was told.
Yeah.
Those
Like
were
I
the
said,
two
you
things.
were told or I was told? What was the
I
exact
can't
quote?
remember. I can't.
I'm
I
wondering
have.
if it's just referring to me telling you the story.
Yeah. I turned on my recorder on my phone, so I might go back.
Okay. If you capture anything, please send it off.
Yeah. Because it was like, it was a significantly deeper voice
Yeah, it
than
was
the
like-
radio.
It was.
Because we all were like,
Yeah, we were all like, bro.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Good stuff. We missed that story, so you can listen to it on the audio. I'm sure these folks don't want to hear it again. But we're going to cross twice legally, and then we're going to walk alongside that brick building over there. So what we're listening for over there are things that deal with the cotton industry, insects, or if you get any like specific names. So I've gotten things simple like James, John, those kind of things. Fire, ship, anything related to those kind of things. Let's see what we can find. That makes me excited that we got from not excited that the poor guy died.
I can run good super. That drill side, once I get that down, then
Lasers are really a good spot. This is not a good spot for lasers. We're obviously back on East Bay Street. Keith, obviously some videos out of the windows. Let's see if we can actually capture any shadows on the outside of them. Your EMF is touch and go. It's either going to be, yes, because of the electrical lines underneath, or it's going to be erratic from something crazy that's actually near us. I did get the word gagging on the way up here. So again, this is about somebody who hung himself. So we got the word hang and gagging. I'm waiting for something else to come through. Spirit box would actually be a good place here too, Tyler. So if you want to listen again, we'll give this a good 5-10 minutes. If nothing's happening, then we're going to wrap it up and call it a night. Fair enough? So just kind of let's keep an eye on, you know, obviously with Pete's videos going on, he can capture as high as he can go. Temperature gauge for you. This is a great place for you to be shooting the second and third story windows. See if there's any temperature differences up there.
All right.
You're right.
Oh, right there it got really cold. I mean, it's less colder.
Windows is going to be 10 degrees colder. 5 degrees. And also like shooting inside.
What happened to your ship? What happened to the ship that was set out? Your cotton.
Should I go somewhere away from you?
It's hard to hear on the street anyway, so I just try to get it on the audio so I can listen to the details. But I'm looking for like things that deal with a ship that caught on fire. At the word ancient.
So it gets really cold up at the top. All the way up.
How cold?
52.
52?
Yeah, and it's 70s all the way up.
Something outside.
So, I mean, it should be a little because the wind's going to be brushing against the top of the buildings, but not 20 degrees.
I mean,
That's
it's
pretty
like
crazy.
25 degrees.
That's pretty crazy. That's nuts. It's never been that much colder.
47.
Something's
40,
going on up there.
47.
Where?
Up at the top tee. Look at this. Come here. 43.
I see.
43 degrees.
That's nuts.
It's like jumping all over the place right now.
I'm holding it still.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that general vicinity should be within like 3 to 5 degrees. Variance maybe around it.
Okay, so this is 74.
It's also metal.
Now watch. Yep. And then I go to the brick. 48 degrees.
You were just at 43. Wow, that's huge. That's a big difference.
Brick should be colder, but maybe 10 degrees.
Yeah, but that's a big jump. Yeah, I'm telling you to go get a sweater.
Well, and it's
Do
not.
I need a sweater because it's cold?
It's like a whispered yes in between that. Is it cold up there? Why is it cold up there on the third floor?
Right below it are 75, but that brick is in low 50s or 40s.
That's crazy.
It's not that cold outside, so.
No, it's actually pretty normal.
Watch this window. 71. 74.
Keep that GoPro cam. I'm going to like gather the lasers. If you guys have any
74.
questions, I'm going to pretty much call it.
74.
You guys are actually really good. You guys got some really good stuff. So I'll be interested to
50.
see what actually comes up extra on your stuff I'm going to
Is
send
it
you tomorrow.
showing anything on that? On the
Is it cold up there? Up at the
I
very top?
I can't get very all the way up there.
It's not cold up there?
But I've been getting like 66, 68.
It's showing 47 for me.
Keeping it steady.
I don't know.
Those people that get the grid stuff, like they just want to wave it around, jumping around, taking kilometers, and measuring it at the top.
We were in St. Augustine a couple days ago. We took a picture of the window. That's what we got. Window up there. It was like some sort of it was he had like his hops connected there or something.
Yeah, I'm getting 30.
Yeah, it was in the window. Sitting in
28, 30.
and then it was like
So if it's 70 something degrees out, why is it showing that cold up there?
Look, I'm up in the sky.
Here, Mark.
I'm getting like 18.
So, what do you guys think? You capture anything? Think we got extra stuff coming up on the, I think we're going to have some really cool stuff.
Definitely something going on.
I feel like right here. I was doing this throughout. I didn't get a temperature read like that.
It's all consistent, like low to mid 70s.
It's pretty crazy. Again, can't guarantee which gadget's going to work, but again,
Crazy fast.
yeah. I'm going to give you guys my, I'm going to give you guys my, actually, I'm going to give you guys my cards, so I can,
Yeah, I'm
I still
getting it.
think that was weird when we
All right, so I'm going
went
to
back
take the camera,
to the alley.
and I'm going to make sure we're still recording. Awesome job. Almost every tour that I've done with this camera, there's been 2 videos. So Keith did a